What's up guys, this is Theo from Fino Concept, and today we are going to be working with type 2. So open up our Photoshop. We've already opened a new document and we hit T on our keyboard, or we just go to this particular text right here, text 2 right here. So you could click on any part of the workspace. Then I'm just going to type in Fino Concepts. Okay, I'll drag this here. You notice that if I bring the mouse cursor over the image, then I could edit it, but if I bring it away from the image, then I could move it. Now if I want to change the orientation of this particular image, I could hold Control. Then you notice that it brings up these borders. I could just click and drag from here to increase the size, and you know that, let me just recreate it. Now set it to, yeah, so now we have it there. Now clicking on this image, if we hit our Control to keep and maintain a specific or constant image size or text size, in this case you could just hold the Control key, then we just drag. So you have to be precise, but in case we want to change how this is arranged, you could hold down Control key. Instead of bringing the mouse cursor over to the edges, you could bring it slightly around the corners. Now you notice that the arrow changes to this curvy nature arrow. Once we have this, so at any of the edges, you could just click and rotate the image, the text file. Sorry, you could rotate it to any angle we wish. Now you notice the angle is being shown at right above the icon, so you could set it to, if you want 0 degrees, you could set it to 0, 45 or 15, whatever you could set it. And once you have your desired angle, you can leave everything as it is and you click on OK. So now we have this image or text file right here. I don't want to orient it, so I'm just going to keep the position just as it is. Now we could bring up our text presets so that we can manipulate this more. Now to do that, we go to Windows, then we'll check on paragraph or paragraph styles. You just click on paragraph. Now paragraph is going to show certain features, like we already have some here. If you want to left align, if you want to right align, if you don't see what I'm doing, let me just separate these two so that you get a more in-depth feel of the whole process. So on paragraph, left align is going to align everything left, right align, just like Microsoft Word. So another thing we could use on the text is we could go to Windows, and instead of paragraphs or paragraph style, we could click on character. Okay, we could click on characters. Now this brings up the character window. Let me just drag it out. This brings up the character window. So if we click on the entire image or just this image, we have some set of tools here. We could increase the size. So if I hover over the right side, the left side of where the numbers are, I could click and drag to the right to increase the font, or click and drag to the left to reduce the font. So to increase the font, I'll click and drag it to the right and set it to about if it's not accurate, you could always click and change it to probably 150. Now if you hit OK, it's set to OK. Now for the bottom, I want to change this text to bold. So at regular here, if the font allows you to change it to bold, you could just change it to bold in here. You could also change the font here. I could change it to Cooper Black. So Cooper Black is selected. Now you notice Cooper Black doesn't allow regular italics or bolding. It's just one. I could change it to elephant. Weird names. And elephant, I could set it to italic or just, but I like mine to be century, I think century Gothic or something. Can't find it here. Let me search it up here. Century. Century Gothic, and I'm going to set it to bold. Hit OK. Now there are a few other options you could choose from. Now notice everything is capitalized. Imagine I didn't capitalize this and I set it to just Fino here. I could change the color to probably red, but that's not what I'm talking about. I could highlight this portion, then set it to bold right here. So notice that the text becomes bolding. If I click here, it becomes italicized whilst being bolding at the same time. If I click here, it's going to be turned to all capital letters. I don't like the italic, so I'm going to take it off. All capital letters, even though it was initially typed in small letters. Or I could make it capitalized, but the first one is going to be bigger. Or I could just highlight the O and make it superscript. So now the O is a superscript of Fino. I could highlight just the end part and make it a subscript. So you could actually let me just delete this part so that you see what's going on. You could actually work with individual text in the actual image. Now if I select and highlight E, I could click on this icon right here to underline. I could select these two and I could strike through. Now notice that since we can select individual characters in the entire character, we could also change their colors. So I could change this to probably blue, then I could change this to black or something. So the moment you hit the OK key, it changes everything here. Now another thing I want to talk about is, so let me just bring everything back. So type Fino. I don't want to strike through, I don't want to bolden it. So Fino, with this highlighted, I could increase the space between each character by 200. So now the spaces has increased to 200. I could reduce it to 0. So this the default spacing between them, I could set it to -100, and this brings the text very close to each other. Now this part actually deals with the spacing. So after Fino, I could press enter and type in concepts. So if I highlight everything here, or just this part, and it will do. If I click on this setting right here and set it to 6 points, you notice that it draws everything inside. I could set it to 24 and it brings it quite down. I could set it to 60. It's still not enough. So I could increase it to maybe about 110, then we are okay to go. But if you set it to auto, then it's going to automatically leave specific space in here. So I think I'll set it to 110 because I actually liked it. Here, this particular one allows us to stress the image. So now it's set to 100%. If I set it to 150, it gets stressed. If I set it to 200%, it becomes quite stressed and weird looking. So let me just set this to red to distinguish it from the other one. So I hit OK. So basically these are a few of them. I'll talk about this. This is for vertical stretching, this is for horizontal. So if I set this to 200, it's going to stretch it horizontally by 200 points or 200%. So that's it for text. We'll be talking about more of them in our other videos. So thank you guys.